Actor and filmmaker Richard Benjamin's motion picture, The Pentagon Wars, continues to be a hit HBO presentation, the latest in a long line of directing accomplishments since his outrageously funny My Favorite Year. We know Richard from performances in Woody Allen's Deconstructing Harry and Neil Simon's hilarious Sunshine Boys, and I'm pleased to welcome Richard Benjamin back to CBS, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Tom.
My pleasure.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, your son is a Harvard grad.
He is.
He's a graduate of a major American university.
Yes, he is.
He did it.
Yes, he sure did.
Was it against all odds, or was he a good student?
Oh, no, he's a terrific student. He's and a great fellow. And all we ever said was, if you get a great education, you can do what you want, and that's what he's doing. So he's...
What does he want to do?
He wants to act, and he is an actor. Mike Nichols cast him in Primary Colors. He has a little part in that. He's very good. And he's a waiter, so he's kind of a hyphenate. Yes.
Actor slash waiter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right back in New York City?
In New York, yes. And he works in a restaurant, and we had dinner there one night, and he waited on us, and he's great. He's a great waiter, and he puts himself totally into it when he's doing that. And he wanted to be a fighter pilot for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We entertained that, and actually started to take flying lessons. And we would take him up to Tehachapi, north of here, for glider lessons. And the first time we took him up, Paula said, "I've got to get in this thing and see what this is like." And she came back. They towed the thing up and set it loose.
Oh, sure, I've done that.
You've done it. Yeah. And she said, "I think it's all right." And Ross went in the glider, and they towed the plane up, and they let it go. And it was a little orange plane, and it disappeared over these mountains, and it was gone.
Yeah, your only son has disappeared.
We said, how did this happen? How did we do this? We've had him 14 years. He's gone. We don't know where he is. He's with a stranger in a thing that's about the size of a Volkswagen.
Which has no motor.
No motor, and it's in the sky. What kind of parents are we? You know? After a while, little orange dot came back. He loved it. He wanted to keep doing it.
And what took him out of that and into acting, do you think?
I don't know. Girls.
Okay.
You get to date girls, you get to rehearse with them and spend time with them. I don't know. He all of a sudden turned around and said he wanted to do that. And, you know, I tried to say how hard it is, which it is, and how tough it was.
Did you tell him about rejection, that you'll go to auditions and you won't get the part? They'll say no to you?
Yeah, but he is also living here with us. Fortunately, at that period, we were working, I was working, so you're telling him something, but he's not seeing it.
It doesn't connect because it's not real.
He's seeing our friends who are on television and stuff like that, so that's what he kind of knows. And I said, you know, it's tough out there. And he says, you know, the mean streets of Beverly Hills, you know. And I said, no, it's tough, you know.
Well, what's it like for him now? Is it tough for him now? Well, it must be if he has to wait tables.
Yeah, sure, he's doing the regular thing, but he's doing it with a great, good spirit. When I did it, I mean, I didn't know the outcome to any story that I'd be sitting here talking to you or anything.
Sure.
You know, to me, it was like Woody Allen says he used to say in his act that he had this dream that the letters N-O were chasing him. That's what it feels like. It's no all the time, and in New York, it's a cruel no. It's not the same as it is here.
And you got a lot of those starting out, I'm sure. I think all actors do.
Yeah, yeah. You go around with your 8x10, you know, and you hit these offices. You actually walk the streets, and you go into these casting offices, and they look up and they say, there's nothing, and there's never going to be anything for you. I mean,
not only is there nothing,
not only is there nothing,
never, right?
Yeah, and you ought to be doing something else. And then as I'd leave and I close the door, I'd hear this little funny little sound, and I said, what's that noise I hear? And one time I swung the door open, it was my 8x10 hitting the trash can.
Oh, man.
Along with my, you know, I said, those things are a nickel. Don't throw those away. But it's different here.
What was the first job you got in New York where they said yes rather than no?
The first good job I got was Mike Nichols casting me in Barefoot in the Park.
Oh,
that was the first good job, and that changed a lot of things for me. And right before I went on to audition, somebody, and I won't say who it was, fairly well known, was auditioning, and Mike, you know, said, that's enough, that's fine. He said, I'm not finished. And Mike said, yes, you are. Next. Hi, you know. And I heard that wonderful laugh that you would hear, you know, when you heard the records, Nichols and May, and I heard him laughing and stuff. And it's interesting, that job, how I got that audition, a friend of mine, Penny Fuller, was understudying Elizabeth Ashley in that play on Broadway. And I, of course, I had an agent who, you know, I never saw him. I mean, he never called me or anything. And she said, you're up for this, aren't you, for the replacement in the Redford part? And I said, what is it? For what? She said, the Barefoot in the Park. You know, they're looking for someone for the national company of Barefoot in the Park. So your agent has sent you up, hasn't he? And I said, no. So I called him and I said, what about this? He said, that's a great idea.
You're paying this guy 15% or whatever?
10%.
10%,
yeah. What a fabulous idea. Let's get you up there. I said, well, I'm already up there. The girl is understudying. I'm going over there tomorrow. Great. This is a great idea. And I mean, if I hadn't, this is how this works. If I hadn't gone to school with Penny, if I hadn't seen her that day,
you never would have known.
No.
And it never would have happened.
No.
Now, when you moved to California, I'm sure you got rejections here, too.
Yes.
Is there a difference between a California rejection
yes.
and a New York rejection?
Yes. There's a friendly, lying, Hollywood love kind of rejection. And that kind of rejection is, you know, there may be something coming up for you in about 6 months. You know, call me and we'll have lunch. So that, I lived on that. 6 months, I'm going, I'll shop, I'll go around, because I got something, it's April, I got something coming up in November.
Right.
Yeah.
Only 4 more months to go.
Yeah, only 4 more. You count them down. Yeah. And November, I'm calling about the lunch. I mean, they don't know who you are. The guy isn't even there anymore. So, but it's friendlier here.
We're with Richard Benjamin. The Pentagon Wars plays on HBO. You'll check the listings for the exact time on the cable network. Back with Richard and you on the toll-free after this short break. Benjamin, here is Sandra on the toll-free in Shelburne, Ontario. Hi, Sandra. Welcome to CBS Late Night. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you, Tom?
I'm fine, thank you. Bit of a cold, but I'm okay.
Oh, great. I'm calling because one of my favorite pictures was Goodbye Columbus, and I really, really loved Richard in this.
Thank you.
Richard, you and Paula seem like such a well-suited couple. Do you ever fight, and what do you fight about?
We do fight, but I don't know what it's about. I don't know what happens and how it happens. We've had some real, you know, biggies over the years. I mean, I'm Jewish, she's Italian. So you can imagine what that's like.
I would think, and there was a time, and I can say this because it's true, where she was very popular, and you were not doing very well at all, and that could be a source of friction between a husband and wife, especially people who are possessed of talent and ego.
Oh, yeah, yeah. She was a movie star, and I couldn't get anything. We went to an opening of something one time at this theater. It was crowded, mobbed and everything. They said, oh, there's Paula Prentice, there's Paula Prentice. And someone yelled from the back of the crowd, who's he, who's he? And someone next to me said, are you anybody? And I said, no, I'm nobody. And this person yelled back, he's nobody.
Tough, very tough. Wasn't there a legendary contretemps between you and Paula in a hotel room one time where she was threatening to leave you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was legendary with us, that's for sure. That's for sure. We had just come into I was doing a play there, so we had just checked into this hotel, and she was with me, and we just came into the room. We had an enormous fight. I don't know what it was about. Somehow cranberry sauce was involved, but I can't remember what that could have been about. And it got hotter and hotter and hotter, and she said, that's it, I'm leaving you. And she opened this door and walked out and slammed it shut. Now, she'd gone into the closet. She didn't know where the front door was, and I thought, this is going to be good, because it was a great exit. but she's got to come out of there. So I got myself a chair, and I just sat in front of the thing like I was watching TV. You know, I said, sooner or later she's coming out of there. I mean, either that or she's going to suffocate. You know, I just waited for that door to open. I said, that was finally opened. It was beautiful, but it was a closet, you know. It's a joke, you know.
Was the argument over then?
Yeah,
it was over. Very few. Sandra, I'm glad you called, and thanks for watching us tonight.
Well, thank you, Tom. Well, we're going to miss you. I watch every night before I go to bed.
Okay, thanks a million, Sandra, and I hope you call us again sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye now.
Thanks.
Years ago, you told a story on The Tonight Show with Johnny. This is a long, long time ago. I don't even know if you remember it, about where you would sneak into the kitchen at night.
Yeah. It was a bit anal retentive, I think. Those were those days. I guess some of it still lasts. We were talking about dishwasher stuff before. Yeah, she's a good housekeeper. I want to start,
right?
Yes, I have to say that because I have to go home. And she would clean the pots and pans and stuff like that, but, you know, there was a little residue on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get some of that egg stuff off of there. She thought, I'm sure, that she got it all off. And we'd go up and go up to bed and stuff, and then I'd wait till she was asleep, and just like a little elf, I'd go down and really clean those pots and pans and get them nice and shiny and clean, you know, and hoping that she'd never catch me at this. But of course, I couldn't help myself. And the next time I said, you know, honey, a little SOS, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Just on there.
Yeah,
just a little scouring. And she said, watch yourself, you know. You're this close to having the word revere printed on your head.
For those who don't know, Revere used to be a very popular brand of saucepans and frying pans,
right, yes.
copper-bottomed ones. I will confess to you that when the companion leaves for work in the morning, I go to the dishwasher and put the bowls where they're supposed to be, and the plates where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
I was always taught to load the dishwasher from the back to the front.
Well, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
And plates are not supposed to touch or
No,
they chip. Right?
they get a little chipping thing, and those little rungs in there are there for a reason.
That's right.
And if you put them in there correctly, the plates will line up very,
That is right, all
very
lined up,
nicely.
and the edges match,
Yes,
right? Yeah. If you put them in incorrectly, they don't. They look, you know.
And one other thing, if I may say,
yes, sir.
The point of the knives not down. See, that little thing is turning underneath there. That should be up.
As a matter of fact, I do the knives by hand because I find they spot in the dishwasher.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We're going to make a lovely couple.
Yes, right. Now, like with the forks and the spoons, do you put the tines up or down?
Oh, the tines have to be up.
Very good, sir. Very good. Very good. Yep.
Boy, would our house be a spotless place.
Yes, Now, you were not anxious in the 50s to go to the military because there really was nothing going on. I mean, we were, after Korea, we were all through with war for a while.
Yes. Unless you really wanted to type in Munich, you know, there really wasn't anything to do. But I had come out of school and I said, I've got to get a, you know, I wanted to act and direct. I wanted to get a job. So I've got to get out of this. And I had this little thing on the bottom of my foot, like a little wart or something. Yeah. And I decided this is going to do it. So I went to this National Guard armory on Park Avenue. And up
in the 60s there, right?
Exactly. I said, I'll enlist in this. And I'll attempt to, but then at the moment when the doctor does this magnificent examination, he's going to find this thing, and he's going to, you can't be in the armed services. So I went there, and I didn't realize that it was a little kind of relaxed in there. So he said, how you feeling? I said, fine. He said, you're in? I said, oh, no, I have a thing on the bottom of my, he said, what? So, you know, he's the doctor all day long, and for 2 hours at night, he's looking at these people. So I said, well, let me see it. And he said, yeah. He said, oh, well, yeah, that's a kind of wart thing. He said, no. He said, this is the infantry. You know, there's a lot of walking in this. So I said, I thought you can't be in this. So I said, I'm out. And I ran out on Park Avenue and said, I'm out of this thing. I'm out of this thing. A week later, selective service. My God, this has nothing to do with the draft. I have to go through this thing all again, and I did.
So you didn't have to go to...
No. Down at the selective service down on Worth Street or wherever it was, they actually found this thing. And in those days, I mean, you know, there wasn't anything going on or anything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Let me ask you here, this lady who called in from Canada mentioned that she loved you in Goodbye Columbus. Are you ever going to act again in front of a camera?
Well, I just did in Deconstructing Harry in Woody's picture. Yeah, I want to. I love it. I absolutely love it, and especially after directing, because I mean, it's like a vacation. You know, it wasn't Woody, but another picture I did right after I directed my first picture. A director said to me, you know, you've directed now, so are you going to get involved here? Are you going to say where you might like? I said, you know what? You tell me where to stand, what lines how you want me to say them. I'm here. I'm not going to interfere with anything because I know what they're doing.
With Richard Benjamin, The Pentagon Wars is on HBO. We'll continue with Richard and you on the toll-free as time permits after this break.
Wonderful men, and I had a great time. I mean, the idea that I was working with these kind of legends, you know, was really fabulous and very funny, both of them.
Have you got a Mathau story you could share?
You know, I do. It's from another picture.
Okay.
It's from House Calls. Walter and I played doctors. And I said to Walter, we had to actually operate on somebody in this movie. So I said, we have to go and see an operation because we play doctors. He said, what for? I said, well, we're doctors. He said, look, when do we start this picture? I said, well, about 2 months. He said, you know, I've been in I don't know how many movies at this time, and on the stage in New York and on television. Do you think between now and 2 months from now that people are going to think I became a doctor? I'm Walter Matthau. I'm Walter Matthau playing a doctor.
Right,
They're not going to think I became a surgeon. I said, I know, but we have to go and see how to handle these scalpels. And all right. So he has friends who are doctors, and we got into a place, and there was an operation. So we're both about to, he said, I'm not going in here. He said, you go in. I'm not looking at this. So I said, I'm going. And they had someone there, and the doctor made this incision. And the next thing I remember is linoleum. I went
down, huh?
face down on the floor. And a nurse came over and started to pick me up, and she said, oh, is this your first opening? So, opening, I said, where am I? Is this opening night? Am I in the theater? She said, I said, you mean that cut that they made into the guy, the thing that he did to him? So she said, oh yes, we call that the opening. She said, you know, if it is your first opening, you probably shouldn't be here for the closing.
Oh, wonderful.
So I left. I mean, they
carried you out.
Carried me out of there, and Walter said, see, I told you not to go in there.
I want to tell both of you on this dishwasher thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I've got a husband that does the same thing, and I'll say the same thing to you that I say to him. Will it matter 20 years from now, and leave it alone?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, Carol, it'll matter a great deal 20 years from now. It will always matter, Carol.
Okay.
All right.
If you say so.
But I'll leave it alone, kid.
Because
Okay.
it'll matter because of the condition of the stainless in 20 years. We can keep it fresh and new.
Hey, we're not going to be around in 20 years.
Oh, yes, we are. Carol, I'm glad you called, and thank you for watching, young lady.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. You know, we talked about the fight in the hotel room, and you know, she was popular and you weren't. And you guys have been married now for 30 years and more.
More.
Yeah. Who keeps it together? Both of you? Yeah.
Paula's smart, and she has great wisdom and stuff. And over the years, she's just been the one that has seen. Paula loves life, and when she was starring in movies, when I couldn't get anywhere or get anything, she would always say to me that this isn't what you think it is. She always had her eye on the real world and stuff, and that's the way she is.
I'm told she's terribly prepared for the next earthquake.
Yes, we're prepared, all right. We're prepared.
We're prepared, all right.
Yes, oh, yes. We have a generator, which is sealed in its box. We have a 5-gallon can of for gasoline, no gasoline. The house is bolted
To the foundation or the rock or whatever.
To the earth,
Yep.
you know. And we have a thing to turn the gas off. We're ready for this thing. And I said to her, if there is an earthquake, And where am I going to get gasoline? How,
to run the generators.
To run this job. I'm not keeping any gasoline in here, but we're totally prepared.
Do you prepare yourself at all? I'll tell you what I have in the trunk of my car. If you want. I have a pair of sneakers because they said you may have to walk home.
Oh yes.
Right. And I've got bottles of water back there and flashlights and stuff like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll
I'll
have to get your address.
I'll tell you what else I have in the garage is a rowboat. Because they say this whole thing is going into the ocean.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So if it does, I can row over to Vegas and gamble with the money I have left.
Yes, we're prepared.
We neglected your daughter. Your daughter is now studying theater at Northwestern, your alma mater?
Yes, she's studying theater there, and she's got the lead in 2 plays.
Very good.
Yes, this summer.
Have you been back?
Yeah, we were back. She moved into an apartment, and we had to help furnish it, and we didn't have to, but we're parents. Our son calls us the SWAT team. For God's sake, leave us alone. What? You're moving into an apartment and you need to have it furnished. We're there.
Well, like when you and Paula were at Northwestern, you each had your own apartment, didn't you?
No. Sure. We had oh yes, sure. I was working 3 jobs. She fed me on Sundays because I didn't have a board job to eat on Sunday. No, it was, I try and make them guilty. But they refuse to be guilty.
No, kids are not guilty.
They refuse.
Kids are not guilty.
When we didn't have, their eyes roll up. They don't want any part of it.
No, they sure don't.
No.
They sure don't.
So we went to help furnish her apartment, and I decided to save a few bucks by getting furniture you assemble yourself.
Oh, very good.
This is really good. I think I built something that is part bed and part desk. Because you open this box, and you're in front of your wife and your daughter, and it has to look like you absolutely know what you. Nope, no problem. I've got the Allen wrench, and
not to worry.
Not to worry.
Under control.
Yeah, give me about a month, and this is going to look, and it's a flat box that's going to be a desk. It's not possible.
No, I know. And the great thing is, usually in those cases, the fellow that put the parts together and the person that wrote the instruction book never met each other.
Oh, there's no question of that.
And then don't you love the one where it says open envelope containing 8 small screws, and there are 7 in there?
Oh, yes, we had that one. We had that one. I was actually taking the screw and holding it up to the thing to see that was the right screw, because some of them are so close. And there's one thing, I made this incredible discovery that the drawers go on these rails, but there's no way of knowing which rail goes in the thing, and they're sort of imprinted so you could barely see. It was a little DL in there, meaning draw left. Oh. And another thing that said CL, cabinet left. To me, it was like I had broken the Enigma code, do you know?
Yeah. Like the kids say, leave us alone.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. My best to your bride, okay?
Thank you, Tom.
And continued success. Richard Benjamin is the director of The Pentagon Wars that appears on HBO.